Hello, my name is Kate Labunets. I'm an assistant professor at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. Today, I'm glad to present our work on the anatomy of VPN mental models among professionals working in a corporation. This is joint work with my colleagues from the Delft University of Technology, Max-Planck-Institut for Informatics, CISPA, and Radboud University. A VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. This technology provides a secure connection to a physically distant network. The VPN technology is an effective solution to counter censorship, geofiltering, state-level surveillance, and threats of insecure local internet access. These days, we can see the bloom of commercial VPN providers and an increase in the adoption of VPN by end users. An end user's perspective is well covered in recent studies. However, these studies do not consider the business and corporate users. In the past 2 years, we all went through the COVID-19 pandemic and had to adjust our working practices to home settings. Philip found out that the VPN traffic increased by 2 times during the first lockdown compared to the pre-lockdown months. VPNs are the main solution in the corporate context to manage and connect remote workstations to the internal network of the company. And the data handled by corporate VPNs may be highly sensitive and confidential. So it is important to understand and determine how corporate users see the VPN technology and how they use it. To study the perspective of VPN usage in professional context, we formulated the following research questions. First, how, when, why do or do not corporate users use VPNs? How do they think VPN works? And finally, how do they see the impact of VPNs on the threat landscape? So what kind of threats can be mitigated, but also what kind of threats can be introduced due to VPN usage? As corporate users, we studied 2 groups of employees, trained IT professionals holding additional IT or security-related qualifications, and non-experts from non-IT related departments in non-technical roles, for example, HR and finance. To answer our research questions, we decided to explore the mental models of experts and non-experts working in a corporate firm. A mental model represents how something works in the real world according to someone's thought process or perception. And to elicit the mental model of our participants, we combined 2 techniques. We conducted semi-structured interviews to learn how our participants reason about different concepts around VPN and what relationships they see between them. In addition, we asked our participants to do the drawing task and help them to visualize the mental models and think along with this visualization process. For the drawing task, we asked our participants to use 3 scenarios of VPN usage. From home office, a bar or cafe where you can connect to a public Wi-Fi hotspot, and a case of checking emails via the corporate VPN. At the bottom of the slide, you can see an example of the drawing made by one of our experts. They visualize a VPN as a shield between a working laptop and a corporate network. To analyze data, we followed a coding process inspired by the grounded theory approach and included open, Excel, selective coding, and finally model generation, in our case, mental model generation. To control the codebook reliability, 2 authors independently coded 3 interviews to ensure that we interpreted data in the same way. And after resolving agreement, we achieved creep-and-roll alpha more than 0.8, which indicates a reliable codebook. The final codebook included 86 codes in total, and we grouped them into 4 core themes answering our research questions. We recruited our participants from a Dutch office of a professional consulting firm, offering a wide range of services from financial auditing to IT security assessments. We interviewed 7 non-experts who had worked in the company an average 6 years, and we interviewed 11 experts. And this group had worked in the company for 4 years on average. The VPNs that they use in the company is supplied by a major network device vendor. The employees are using a custom white label client, so it appears for them if it would be a product of the company. so same corporate style. This VPN uses the complete tunnel connection, meaning that all traffic is sent via the VPN connection. Next, I discuss the results of our study. Here you can see a mental model of non-expert of how a VPN works and on what devices our participants use a VPN connection. The non-experts showed a basic understanding of how a VPN works, and in general they described the same process for establishing a VPN connection. First they connect to the internet, launch the VPN software, then enter credentials and confirm it with a two-factor token, and then click connect button in the VPN software. Experts described a similar process of how to start the VPN connection. However, experts and non-experts were uncertain about when to use a VPN. Some of them reported that they do not use a VPN in risky situations. They assume that using a VPN might make them more of a target due to new threats they see. But at a high level, the experts have a similar idea about how VPN works. But what we can say is that they provided a more detailed mental model of VPN infrastructure. They included in the explanations concepts like external authentication and authorization, aspects of the corporate network topology and segmentation. Specifically, they mentioned the use of demilitarized zone. Now we move to the threats model that our participants have around using a VPN. With this icon, we denote threats introduced by the VPN, and this one with a green shield denotes threats mitigated by due to use of VPN. We found that threat models of non-experts follow the tunnel metaphor. So what does it mean? Once you start the VPN connection, the information is secured in this tunnel. It mitigates specific threats, leaving them outside of the tunnel. As for new threats, our participant also considered the VPN service itself as a potential threat. For example, direct attacks on the VPN server and compromised endpoint when it is connected via VPN. In addition to the basic threats identified by non-experts, the experts also identified threats from a more operational perspective. Experts also considered better control and device management capabilities due to the VPN as a part of the threats mitigated by VPN. They noted that systems connected via VPN could be better monitored and corporate security policies could be better enforced. So, for example, they mentioned monitoring client software update state and passing user network traffic through corporate intrusion detection system. And what surprises this point relates to the privacy threats introduced by VPN mentioned by our experts. They had privacy concerns. But still, these mitigations are also not necessarily related to VPN itself, instead the additional services. Among new threats, expert participants, in addition to non-experts, mentioned lost or stolen credentials. Based on the mental models of our participants, we made several recommendations for practitioners. The first is to automate VPN and make its usage visible and default for employees. And second, to accommodate a degree of private VPN used in the company's privacy policy and actively communicate these changes to the employees. Next, we suggest exploring device management solutions to allow secure work even without a VPN. And finally, focus related training on what employees need to know based on the mental models. Because we discovered that even non-experts have a basic understanding of how a VPN works. Also, using metaphors like tunnel or shield could improve training accessibility. At the bottom of the slide, you can see an example of drawing illustrating the tunnel metaphor used by one of our participants. For future research, we suggest further exploring the privacy concerns raised by our experts in the application to privately used VPNs. And it seems that the end users tend to trust commercial VPN providers more than the local ISPs. So it's an important question for future research to explore the trust relationships between end users and their local ISPs. For this purpose, our mental models of non-experts can serve as a basis. Another possible direction is quantitatively study the use of VPNs, both in corporate and private contexts, to get a more general perspective. And finally, we encourage empirically validate the interventions in line with our recommendations, using controlled experiments. In summary, we found that both experts and non-experts have a similar understanding of VPN technology at a high level. However, the experts have a more thorough technical comprehension of the VPN. They also express concerns regarding the privacy implications of using a corporate VPN. And what surprises us, our experts also associated VPNs with fleet management and policy enforcement. So following our findings, we suggest exploring the possibilities for automating VPN usage, improving privacy policy and its communication, and adapting technical training to what people are missing based on their mental models, and use metaphors to make these trainings accessible. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions.